after having gone back to Vietnam 2 more times. And I found that on the second 2 times down there that I could absolutely not shoot a gun. I just couldn't do it. I carried one, but I didn't fire the weapon at all. And I had plenty of opportunity to do that. And so I thought perhaps it was time to end that portion of my life.
What prevented you from using your weapon?
God wouldn't let me. The light would not let me do it. When I came into a situation like that, I would remember the light and what it meant to me.
What I heard him say is not uncommon. After having a transcendental experience, after encountering what seems to be God, after merging with the light, after becoming peace yourself, it's very difficult to go out and then participate in destruction, death, and war any further, because simply your perspective on who you are has changed. Your perspective on what you're doing has changed.
And well, I thought to stay. I thought to stay. I did not want to come back, and was told that I had to come back for 2 distinct purposes: to share the message that we are brothers keepers, that we do to the least of those around us, we do to ourselves. And the other message was this incredible, all-pervasive peace that I felt there that made me not want to leave was obtainable in this dimension. And it wasn't until I was writing a book that I understood the connection between these seemingly disconnected
Very quickly, before we go to our audience, has it changed your life?
Oh, absolutely.
Has it changed yours? Have you changed? What else might you be doing that you would never have done?
I left the corporate world and got involved with nonprofit organizations, became the director of both senior centers and YMCAs. Very involved in helping the community in any way I can, either through soup kitchens or helping those that are less fortunate. And giving hope and counseling. I counsel a lot of individuals on a one-on-one, just sharing, really, my story and the hope that there is more after this life.
Gordon Allen was an entrepreneur, a ruthless and very successful financier who worked in the heart of the Pacific Northwestern business world.
The important values that I had at that time, the first important value was to make sure that everything was okay with my children. The second important value was to maintain cash flow, and that was really what made me run. It also was a lot of fun to make money. I enjoyed making money. The funny thing about money, and the good news about money in some respects, is that it totally doesn't care who owns it or how you came to own it. It really doesn't matter. And so that means that one person who's a not very good person can have a lot, and somebody who's a good person maybe isn't going to have it, because money doesn't discriminate in any sense of the term. Absolutely, that's the moment my life changed. That is the moment my life changed. When I came back, my heart is filled, and you would describe this as being on fire. Your heart feels like your heart's on fire. And it's on fire with love, okay? The sensation of love that I experienced as I was going through the out-of-body experience has retained itself. I'm there. It's in me. It hasn't gone away. It hasn't changed. So I'm trying to understand where it's going to go. But I've decided that I was not going to try to save anything that I had from my past life in the financial world or the business or anything. So those people who were most vehement about the fact that I wasn't going to work in the real world anymore as a financial guru, and that they weren't going to be able to make a lot of money off of me anymore by whatever method that was, I called them up. I say, "Hi, Bill, hi, Jack," or whoever it was. This is Gordy, you remember? "Oh, yeah, Gordy." And you can hear them pull back off the phone because they're waiting for the hit, because in the old days that might have been a hit coming after them, looking for the money or whatever I was doing. I said, "Hey, you know, last time we talked I wasn't really too happy about the way that came out, and I think I would be a less than candid if I didn't say I was not being good to you, that I wasn't being loving to you, and I just wanted to call you and ask your forgiveness for whatever I might have done to you. Now, if you want to hear dead air on a telephone, do that." You have total silence, and then there's a little stutter, and they say, "Well, yeah, I guess so," or whatever, and that's the end of it.
Today, Gordon has severed all links with business and left the world of money far behind. He's now a qualified counselor and uses his new understanding to help others change their lives.
The after effects that Gordon Allen experienced are typical of a large number of near-death experiencers involved in organized crime who went on to become a counselor for delinquent children. These are not unusual stories to hear from near-death experiencers. And I think with someone like Gordon, who had such drive and such organizational skills, to see him use these now to help other people rather than just acquire more wealth is quite phenomenal.
The richness of the life that I have today is like the Sistine Chapel compared to a plain, drab little room somewhere. I mean, it's just, you can't put it in words, the richness of the life that I have today. Even though I live a very modest life, drive a very modest car, the richness that has been provided to me today. And this is not in any way social or economic or anything that we could measure by the standards that we normally measure things.
How did I change as a result of my experience? Everything about me changed. Now I'm interested in people. I'm interested in what I can do to help their spirit.
I changed as a human being. In many ways, I was very aggressive. I wanted to make money in that. And I realized the need for the materialism isn't important.
I am determined to seek all the knowledge I can find about anything and to know God most of all.
You do have a feeling of knowingness with the universe, oneness with the universe, and it's not because you're so special, it's because you wake up to who you truly are.
I had to deal with, acknowledge, and accept that I am a spiritual being.
That was probably the most frustrating 6 months of my existence. After experiencing perfection and something so beautiful, I wanted to hold on to it. Didn't want to let it go. And it wasn't easy. After I had recovered the second time and went home, everything just seemed to change. It was almost like I was starting my life all over again. I was a baby. I hadn't made the mistakes that I had made in my life, and things weren't messed up or whatever. And I can recall in my attempt to hold on to this feeling and to hold on to this peace, I began to bump into earthly things, you know, that of course aren't going to escape from you. You know, they're there. My first frustrating experience was with the television. I couldn't watch television. There would be a a commercial, a cosmetic commercial. I couldn't. I'd have to turn it off because it was something false. It was unnecessary. It was fake. It just didn't belong. You know, it's insignificant. Any type of violence. If there was even an old Western movie, I'd have to turn it off because to me that was total ignorance. There was just no reason on earth to show people killing people.